to Blighty Day Fiance, Date Blight.
Date Blight.
My name is Michelle.
My name is Robin.
He's my husband.
She's my wife.
He's British.
She's not.
We watch reality TV shows that deal with dating and relationships.
Yeah.
And we bring to you a very unique perspective, a decidedly British perspective.
And American.
And American.
Right.
Although I've lived in England almost as long as I lived in America.
It's
now.
a Bramerican perspective.
It's a Bramerican. It's a transatlantic perspective.
It's a Meritish.
It's a Meritish.
What we do on our date blights is little Alfie, not his real name, is, safe and sound, snuggled up with the bully breed and the pugglier. Can we say they're breeds?
Yeah,
All right.
I think so.
And, he's snoring and she's thinking about KFC popcorn chicken. And he's sweating because that's what he doesn't. I've never known a human being sweat so much. Alfie is a drenchy boy at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. But they're doing that. Me and Michelle, we sneak out to the cabin, dim the lights, and talk about all the telly. We haven't got time to talk about the rest of the time. It's like a little catch-up.
Now, normally we have a system. We've got awards and things like that, and we put a lot of more thought into it.
No time for that today.
No, this week's been a rough one. So all thoughts, prayers, smiles, warm fuzzies, could do without cold pricklies, to be honest.
Yeah, just the fuzzies.
All those things are very welcome. I wish I could say more. I can't. It's family stuff. But just know that we are going to do our best for you tonight. We certainly have no shortage of things to talk about.
And that's the point. That's why we haven't got time for awards, because we're going to go bam, 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 bam. We're going to talk about everything.
We are. The first thing we're going to talk about is, okay, I'm going to do a character.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
And then you can guess who I'm imitating.
All right. I'm here for it.
Robin, I'm very upset because I think that there's some unholy language in this podcast.
I just want you to know that when you said Robin, that's because my name is spelt with an I. And your name is spelt with a Y?
No, I was being Sharna.
Oh, God damn it. I thought that was your Robine impression.
They're very close.
They are.
They're not miles away.
God, I really messed that up.
The difference being that Robine, or Robin Brown, as she is more commonly known, doesn't have terrifying shark eyes.
No,
like
but
Sharna
she does have terrifying eyebrows. Okay, Sharna. Yes, Warden Sharna.
Yes, Warden Sharna. So if you're not watching Inmate to Roommate, I don't blame you. It's very brutal. It's kind of like, I don't know what to compare it to. It's kind of like if we're going to compare Matt Sharp to David Lynch, which I really think we should.
Oh, I think we should compare most things to David Lynch. Yeah. I'm comparing this glass of wine to David Lynch.
I think if we were we're huge David Lynch fans, Robin and I. I think Love After Lockup is Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
And like 90 Day Fiance is
Blue Velvet.
Yes. And Inmate to Roommate is like Eraserhead.
Yeah.
Or Lost Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that Marilyn Manson soundtrack.
This is Loathsome Man by all accounts.
What is the straight story of reality TV? Do you remember the straight story? No one does.
No. Okay, we probably shouldn't talk about it then, because can I finish what I was talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So what I mean is that this is if you're going to go through Matt Sharp's oeuvre, Matt Sharp being the executive producer of 90 Day Fiancé, Love After Lockup, and numerous other fabulous shows.
Yeah, you didn't sign a contract, but he owns your evenings.
Yes, as he should, because wow. I mean, talk about, anyway, this is the Inmate to Roommate is like all of the gritty stuff without the comic relief.
There's not a lot of nyucks.
No, not a lot of lols.
But there are some.
There are some.
I mean, I really enjoy it. I've got to say, the last 2 episodes have gone off the boil. The first 5 are just an opening salvo beyond opening salvos. I mean, it just keeps delivering. And then, like meat left on an air conditioner, it starts to get a bit whiffier.
Yeah, there's an element of offness to it now.
I think it might be a format problem, if I'm completely honest.
I think it is too.
Yeah. So the boring thing in Love After Lockup is when they come out. Usually a bit more boring when they first meet.
You mean because they like disappear for a while because they're going to catch up with their friends?
Yeah, it's never that interesting, right? What's interesting is when real life kicks in. I always find. This is the opposite. It's really interesting when they get out, and then it becomes less interesting. And I don't know how much legs there are in this show for that reason, actually.
Well, in a way,
once like the rules of living in someone's house. We should explain for anyone that doesn't watch it. It's like Love After Lockup, but there ain't no love. So these are just volunteers who said, "Hey, person in prison, come and live with me when you get out."
Yes, they're called returning citizens.
Yeah.
Coming to stay with just members of the public.
Yeah, it's like an anti-recidivist program.
Yeah, and there is success. I don't know that any of the people on this show will be successful, which is what makes it so hard to watch. But I think the fact that it doesn't fit within that format actually speaks to its authenticity.
Yeah.
I think they went into this believing, like that older gentleman from, was it West Virginia or Virginia? That older Southern gentleman was going to have a full story, and really it was just...
He got an episode and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bleak. I'm not going to lie. The cast of characters, they're not, it's not a laugh a minute. These are not your Deontes and
but they're all Lindsays. Like all of them are Lindsays. None of them are Destinies, but they're all Lindsays.
I don't know about that. I will say, now, I'm aware not many people have access to this show, so I don't want to spend too long talking about it.
No, but what are the things, if you don't watch it, what have they missed? Like, why should they find a way to watch it?
You should find a way to watch it because there is, I'm just going to come out and say it. There's a sort of roommate couple named Mark and Sharna who are Seventh-day Adventists, which is a very like quite a strict Christian
love their
sect.
rules.
Big into rules.
Yeah, it seems like, again, just judging by this show, it's a religion based on a series of rules but very little practices.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing
the ethos.
Yeah, or like at least, like with Mormons you get Rice Krispie treats and you get like big families and there's a beautiful choir, and
an eternity in heaven with your family.
Sure. With this I'm not really seeing what the upsides are apart from, do you need to live your life under such rigid codes?
It's like a religion, and again, this is purely based on the show. It's like a religion for people that have come out of an addiction clinic.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There are rules for absolutely everything.
What there also is a man whose face has slipped down his head to the point where his mouth is where his chin should be, his eyes are where his nose should be, and his forehead is where his eyes should be. And above that is another forehead. It's remarkable. I'm speaking about Mark. Alfie genuinely didn't have to say anything.
Nope.
Came into the room while we were watching it and screamed. He screamed
He
at
was
Mark's
freaked
face.
out.
He was like, why is his face falling down his head?
Mark is like a blobfish, but without any of the charisma.
Yeah, none of the redeeming features.
None of the cuteness.
Yeah.
And
he's like one of those things with like the electric fish at the very bottom of the ocean.
yeah, like with the lantern.
Yeah, the little lantern fish. But only enough electricity to power an ice maker.
Yeah, he's again, not a super jovial chap. His wife Sharna was pen pals with an inmate named Bill, who is, according to him, and this is his own, mythology. He was a con artist,
like a top
an
10
escape artist, a
thief.
safe cracker. Yeah. Who knows? Once
Over in this country, he would like to think he's the milk tray man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a very high opinion of himself. He does not have a very high opinion of Mark and Sharna's rules or lifestyle.
He has a very high opinion of meat.
He sure does. And their neighbor, Sharon, gives him chicken wings over the fence, sneaks him over because that she and Sharna have fallen out over recycling day or whatever.
Yeah.
For all we know, there's a third neighbor who swapped their recycling bins just to light it up.
Watch the sparks fly. The Puglia is furious, though, and wants to know why none of our neighbors deliver chicken over our fence. She is not
she was
happy.
incensed. Speaking of agents of chaos, if we can kind of shuffle over to Lilu.
Yeah, we can. But honestly, I do want to recommend you all watch that show and come at us if you want us to talk more about it. I do think it's an evolution of the genre. Like, it's lost steam for the last couple of episodes, but I have hope that it will turn it around.
Yeah, I think it's entirely
possible.
possible.
Kick up the arse of the genre. Do watch it.
It is, and does it bring to mind how lucky we are to be in the position that we're in. With people who love us, and it's got to be incredibly difficult.
And I'll be honest, I'm not criticizing the country where the majority of our listeners live, but we don't really have a prison industrial complex here.
No, we don't.
That isn't to say that recidivism isn't very high, because poverty. But it's stacked against you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So moving on to kind of, I suppose, more
the fun criminals,
returning citizens. I will say, speaking of agents of chaos, Kayla has reigned supreme. I think that she and Kevin are the Charles and Camilla of Arlington, Texas. I think that she understands that chaos is a ladder better than pretty much anyone who's ever been on the show. And her skullduggery.
Every morning now, I get out of the shower and have a look around.
And you know what?
It's like a scene out of Dynasty.
Right?
Or Dynasty, as I would say.
You know what makes her so appealing, though, is that she has shown us her vulnerability.
She did, yeah. And she loves the Short King.
It's incredible. She really does love him. And I think he loves her, too, in as much as he knows how to love.
There's a chemistry, there's something there. He needs to stop fucking about with other people. Except he doesn't, because she loves it.
Yeah, I think
it would take all of that energy away if he just did a 9 to 5 and came home with a
I know.
Honey, I'm home. It wouldn't work.
That's the thing. They could never have that kind of life, because
but neither of them
never
really wants
together.
it. Like, she will tell herself she wants it, but she is at her best when she's fighting.
Yep.
So let the girl fight. She's damn good at it.
Yeah, she sure is. Wow. Mad respect to her.
Tiffany didn't know what she had in store for her in any way.
No.
Curtis, you have to credit.
Of course I will. I think there's certainly an overlap between ourselves and Pink Shade. And I believe it was is it Keisha from Libra Lounge? I'm sorry if I've got that wrong, but she and Aaron Martin came up with this hilarious bit about Kevin knocking the K out of Erdis. And so Erdis is just...
And it's just stuck. Honestly, we can't watch House of the Dragon now without going, ooh, Qual just knocked the L off of Laenor. It's just a thing.
It would be the L off of Aenor, right?
Yeah, you're right. Mess that up.
So yeah.
Aenor is the sort of bloody name that George R.R. Martin would give a character, though.
Yeah, and it'll be spelled like Aeeoonr.
You know that there are characters coming in this franchise called Kermit and Oscar, ancestors of Grover.
I thought it was Elmo and Oscar.
I think there's an Elmo too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Look, in terms of literally everyone else on that show, I don't have any unique opinions about them, except for, again, I remain the only person in the world who remembers that Amber is a sociopath.
Yeah.
I stand by that. That is a hill I will die on. She was planning on having some man, and I'm not saying he is some fine, upstanding citizen.
No,
but she was planning
confused. Yeah.
He was not a match for her intellectually or in any other way. Okay, and she was very willing to fleece him.
You don't like fraud, do you?
I really don't.
Fraud really gets you. A bit of like violent crime and stuff, you're all about it, but fraud really gets you.
Because
I agree, by the way.
For me, it's not being able to understand.
Yeah.
And I think neurodiverse people have that in common.
Like the whole world's trying to trick you all the time.
No, not that. Just that we don't understand why someone would hurt another person.
Okay.
And I guess for me, I don't understand how someone I can understand a crime committed in the heat of the moment, like as a reflex almost, or whatever. Like, I understand crimes of passion.
I can almost understand premeditated violence in a weird way. In a weird way. I mean, I can't. But premeditative, like, life fucking up.
Stealing people's identities. Stealing from people in general. Conning people. Particularly when it involves love. Really, really bothers me. That's not to say that some people don't deserve it or aren't asking for it because they...
Yeah, but it's not your place to give it.
Right.
But also, fuck Puppy. Like, you know, she's made her dog bed and she can lie in it. You know, you don't get to complain about Eric when repeatedly you've gone back to him. So that is not a storyline for our particular delectation, right?
No, it isn't, because we're in the minority here. And look, obviously I can sympathize being stuck in a bad relationship, being stuck in a relationship with someone. And I'm not saying that I know that Eric has been violent toward her, but he's at a minimum coercive and controlling and emotionally manipulative. But Puppy has a way out. And she has friends that she's confided in, people who care about her, people who have tried to intervene on her behalf. And if she doesn't want to save herself, you have to let go of the rope. And I'm sorry, that is something that I feel very strongly about. I feel like the audience is almost complicit in enabling her not to help herself by just pitying her, because that's what everyone's done, is pity her.
Yep.
So, I'm not saying tough love is the solution for everyone, but I'm saying if you want to save her and she doesn't want to save herself, she's not getting saved, okay?
Put down the leash.
Let go of the leash.
Let her trick her off.
Yeah.
She might find a used diaper behind a tree and stick her face too deeply into that.
All right. Robin is making me tell the story. It wasn't even a diaper, I'll have you know.
No, it
so
wasn't.
this was back when we lived in a different part of the city, and we were in this very beautiful park, and
Behind the Ritz.
behind the Ritz,
Green
that's
Park,
right.
yeah.
Kensington Palace, and no, it wasn't Green Park, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It is behind the Ritz. Wrong part of London, forgive me. So when Tig, our Pugalier, was a puppy,
Yeah.
we let her off the leash, and she was just having a nice trot about. And I see her emerge from a shrub with what looked like kind of a shimmery, sparkly. I thought, sometimes people go on fun runs or whatever, and they wear sparkly costumes or something. And I thought, oh, okay, it's a leotard or leg warmers or something. Reader, listener, it was not. It was a huge pair of soiled women's underpants. And when I say soiled, I mean deep diarrhea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real bad.
There's a lot of bins around. I can't understand if you soil yourself to that. Look, actually, I do understand it.
I understand
the
it
horror
too.
would be so great, you would just run pantsless away from there, wouldn't you?
If I shit myself to that degree, and I'm not saying I don't shit myself, because I absolutely do. Irritable bowel tribe represent.
Irritable bowel syndicate.
Irritable bowel syndicate. Way more exclusive than the uterati.
Yeah.
Yes, if you come at us, if you're in the IBS, I think I would, phone a friend and change somewhere discreet and probably discard the offending article.
Would you call the guy from like the end of Breaking Bad and the beginning of Better Call Saul? Like the guy that can get you a new life?
I might.
Yeah.
I might. If it was that catastrophic.
But Tig is the one to bring that memory back to you in her mouth, gleefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
So we should probably move on to the single life. I will say, I'm not sure everyone's aware of this, and I haven't. Look, this could be unsubstantiated, because I'm very happy for other people to do whatever they want with their bodies. I'm not a fan of tattoos myself. I wouldn't want them, and I'm not a particular fan of tattoos on my men's, as it were, my 50 men's. But what was I talking about?
I have no idea.
I've completely... Debbie's...
Oh, Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie's boyfriend.
Oh, his Nazi tattoo.
Yes. So somebody on the Reddits said that the tattoo on his back corresponds with a neo-fascist organization. So I have a lot more questions for him than what are your intentions with Debbie?
Yeah, my questions are, what are your intentions for Western Europe?
Yeah. I'm... that immediately sets off the Springtime for Hitler music box in my head. So thank you for that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Red
going to come
flags there.
Yeah, well...
Well,
yeah.
oh God. There are history buffs listening.
There are. yeah, it's not going to come up in the show.
No, I
The
doubt.
storyline where Debbie finds out that her boyfriend is a fascist is not going to come up on this show.
I mean, they have showcased all manner of criminals, and not just in the true crime part of the Matt Sharpiverse. I don't know. Okay, so that's there. Look, I also want to say,
But by the way, this is not some great love story. That's all I'm saying. A 70-year-old man who lives by himself in the woods and has a fascist tattoo on his back does not belong in a love story.
and yet there he is.
And yet there he is.
Yeah, look, I think she likes him, and were it not Debbie, I would not have a problem at all of old sex
No, it's fine.
on television. I think
It's just she's not half as funny as she thinks she is.
no, it's pretty tragic. Not as tragic as Natalie.
Well, no.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we've crossed the Rubicon with Natalie. We've gone from funny haha to funny uh-oh.
Look, let's be honest. Our delightful pals at Reality Gaze call this with the borderline personality disorder diagnosis the other day. And I am significantly less qualified than Matty or Poodle to really be diagnosing anyone. But yeah, look, she's not well.
No. And I think what we are watching is somebody who's not entirely aware of herself and her needs, right?
But if she is, if she is kind of big-heading this and she knows exactly what she is and she's doing it for the clout, like playing that role.
Then she's an incredible actress.
She is Marlene Dietrich.
Yeah. I will say about
alone in the wood.
She wants to be. No, she doesn't want to go back to Zavud.
No, she doesn't want.
I dated tons of Joshes. You could, I mean, where I'm from, you could throw a nickel and hit 5 of them.
Well,
He's a very specific type of man, and in my opinion, he's had slightly too much work done at slightly too young an age, but never mind. He's into taking care of himself, and that's fine. More power to him. I don't think that he is looking to settle down. I have a very hard time believing that a gentleman of 40 who has 2 children with 2 different women and at least 1 ex-wife, possibly 2, is looking to run a modeling agency from a nice house with a cuckoo's nest at the top for Natalie to live in.
no. Were it not for the fact that this agency is based in Phoenix, Arizona, no shade on Phoenix, Arizona, and look, I'm sure that there is a thriving modeling industry. My vibe is that the agency he runs is one of those ones where you
pay for.
Well, who am I to say?
Yeah, I certainly don't want to cast aspersions. That is a business model. I don't know if it's the most ethical one, but he seems to be enjoying it. I don't think his head is in the same place as Natalie's head.
No one's head is in the same place as Natalie's head.
I think we should probably, because no one else is talking about them, I think we can probably spend a minute talking about Big Ed and...
Trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning. Fast forward a bit.
Hey, you want to know a thing, though?
What?
Triggers should be for Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let her fool you.
No.
She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows who she's with. She has a script, undoubtedly, that the 2 of them have developed together. I don't believe that anything that we're seeing is real.
Nope, even the conflict. Fake fight over a photo shoot, my arse.
Yep, I think it's been.
The mysterious model friend. Look,
You know how I know this is all fake?
Yeah.
Because they have both put on a considerable amount of weight.
Yeah.
And happy people put on weight when they're in a good relationship.
Oh, that's interesting.
Based solely on anecdotal, based on anecdotal evidence.
Look, I know I said I'd get back on the bike today, but I've got a bottle of wine instead.
Must be nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't have a whole lot to say about them either. I think
and I know we're your source for all Big Ed.
No, but if you want to feel validated or heard, yeah, he's a disgusting person. Anyone who...
What did you think of that dating scene? Sorry to cut you off there, but rather than general opinions, how about that specific thing where they do that? Like, they thought it was a scene out of like a romantic comedy or something, and the thing that
they stole a bit that was in Modern Family like 5 years ago. It's not even like I mean, that show went off the air a while ago, but this was like early on they started doing that thing. And they didn't even lift any of the jokes from that weren't particularly funny to begin with.
And it was cut together in that kind of way as well. But was it supposed to be sexy?
It was excruciating, whatever it was. And
it's two people who don't know how to be funny trying to do funny. What it is that guy... Have you ever watched like a TV show with someone with no sense of humor, like a sitcom, or been to a comedy show sitting next to someone with no sense of humor? You know when they say the punchline back?
Yeah.
You go, 5 bananas.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was two people going 5 bananas.
Yeah, it was...
Say these things like it will confer charisma on you.
It's just so... It's so gross to watch. I think that there are so many absolute landmines in their relationship, and it's all a matter of time, and they will 100% end up on couples therapy if that's a show that is still running. It's like a show where like Z-list celebrities and their spouses come on and do therapy.
It's where they go to cry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they will absolutely be doing that circuit. They'll probably end up doing... If he doesn't do Celebrity Big Brother...
Yeah, for sure.
I will eat one of my shoes. Mark my words.
Can I put a little PSA out to the production world?
Sure.
You guys have forgotten what hate watching is. I feel this quite strongly. Hate watching is when you really, really love to hate people that aren't designed to be hated. There's no pleasure in hate watching something that is supposed to be hateable, or is designed to be hateable. When you hate watch something, you hate something that other people love. That's kind of the point of it. So while I believe the producers in this case have put these people on the air because they're like, yeah, people hate them, so this will give them real hate watch vibes and they'll really get off on that. I don't get off on hating something I'm supposed to hate.
Yeah.
That's just hateful.
That's an excellent point.
Hate watching is when you hate something other people love, right?
Yeah.
Like the last few seasons of The Walking Dead. Great fun to hate watch it. Right?
I wouldn't know.
Well, you're going to know because we're doing that last episode because you lost that bet. But, or the end of Game of Thrones, right? There's so many shows that people in the end just ended up hate watching. You hate it because other people still love it.
Yeah.
No one loves Ed. No one loves Liz. This is not a hate watch. This is just shit.
And speaking of just shit, I think I'm going to be completely honest. And again, it's not for me to actually, we should talk about something that we like.
Oh, go on, man.
So I'll say that I'm not the greatest fan of Happily Ever After, but I do love watching Kimbali and Usman.
Yep. Has Usman developed?
I think he has.
Yeah, he's kind of grown up a bit. Usman's setting boundaries. Now, while we don't have time for Deontay setting boundaries, I am all about Usman setting boundaries.
Me too.
Love it.
And I will say it is, again, these are sentiments that have echoed throughout the podcast community. Wanting another woman or another human to be treated as a subhuman, and not given affection, love, appreciation, good housing, fresh air, sunlight, all of the things that we need.
But just being a vehicle to carry a baby.
Yes.
It's a bit Handmaid's Tale.
It's not just that. It's racist. It's classist. It speaks to the absolute ugliest parts of American exceptionalism.
It's good enough for one of them, but it's not good enough for me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. You know what I got to say to that?
Yeah, just watching her be so super cool with the absolute drop dead #1 stunner who walked into Usman's birthday party.
She wasn't as much a stunner as the recording artiste that he was toying with, collaborating with in the last season. Because
she was a knockout.
I couldn't possibly comment. You're the most beautiful woman.
She knocked the K off of Imbali.
But this one, the PR lady, perfectly pleasant. Quite interesting that Kimbali wanted to be her friend. That is good strategy.
Yeah, if Kimbali had employed those tactics from the very beginning, I think that she'd probably be married to Usman by now.
Yeah.
And
Natalie could learn from that too.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to.
Who is this bitch?
Kimbali is very good at playing the. Oh, God bless her. She's not good at playing the cool girl at all. Anyone can see that it's an act, but hey, she didn't throw a drink at anyone, so somebody give her a medal. What she did not do is surprise him in the middle of the night by taking his car apart.
No. Okay, we're going to do it?
I don't want to. No, because I don't want to give that story.
No. This is what we do.
Okay, fine.
Yeah?
Fine.
Other people will not. Someone might want to hear their thoughts validated.
Okay.
I felt this way about Angela for much longer, I think, than other people.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I did,
true.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I called it a long time ago. And again, look, every night we go to sleep listening to Reality Gaze. I love those guys. I truly, truly do. But I remember when they were saying kind of quite defensive things about Angela, and I think it's the only time I've ever kind of, shouted at the phone and been like, I could not disagree more. This woman has always been despicable to me. And hopefully everyone else can now see it. But I'm kind of disappointed that everyone else didn't see it before. I don't know if it's because Nigeria has this completely unwarranted reputation. Like, we've accepted this cultural trope that this is a country of con men. For some reason, this massively racist trope has just become accepted. Like, that's what you know Nigeria for. Like, it's an okay joke, isn't it? Right? You say Nigeria and you go, oh, like the Nigerian prince sends you the email. Right? That is one country for whom, like, the rules of racism seem not to have been applied.
Yeah, it's problematic for a great many reasons, not the least of which is that these two people should not be together for any reason.
Well, Angela should be together with a prison cell. Frankly, I think she has done things that are criminal. I think the assaults that I have seen her rain down time and time again warrant investigation. And I dream of the Nigerian police coming and taking her, but I know it won't happen.
You know what's interesting, though? No one is ever, and I don't blame Sean Robinson for this. I think that, you know, she has a role to play. But it's not holding people to account. And
I remember how she behaved in the last tell-all. And it was like, oh, Angela, oh, could you come back? Oh, we're sorry you're upset. No one called her on it.
No, and she's probably going to be, you know, at the next one pulling the same shit.
Yep.
She's probably going to be calling the shots like Jabri was.
And again, this is the misunderstanding between hate watching and watching something hateful.
But I agree with you. We also need to ask ourselves, where are we with these shows when the tell-alls dwell for hours and hours on women's bodies? Yeah. What surgeries have they had? Are they pregnant? When are they due? Are they trying to get pregnant?
Yeah.
Do they have a baby? Baby. It's relentless,
yeah.
Right?
And the storylines too.
And why?
Not just the tell-alls, but how many storylines have been about, will you give me a child? I want a child. This has to happen before I'm 40. I can't have a child. The obsession, it's strange.
When did those details and when did women's bodies become public property to just talk about endlessly? Probably the better question is, when will women's bodies stop being public property? And I'm sorry if that's...
So why are you raising this with Angela?
I'm raising it because she is someone who has never been held to account. And the closest that she's ever come to being held to account is, you know, I can tote it, I just need your egg kind of discussions. I'm saying if we're prepared to talk to Angela about her waning and probably non-existent fertility, which is a deeply personal area, we have seen the inside of Angela's vagine, okay? We've seen the inside of her uterus with what was, in retrospect, probably an ovarian cyst, right?
Right.
We have seen her go through like drastic surgery.
Yeah.
So why would it be an affront to question her on her behavior? Why hasn't she been asked, hey, you know...
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm saying we can talk about these very intimate
these very
topics.
Invasive questions.
Yeah.
All right. But the one thing you can't actually talk about is her character.
Right.
Which is supposed to be the point of the show.
Right. And same with Bilal.
Yeah.
You know, it's a distraction. Why are we talking about Shaida's uterus?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about her menstrual period?
Yeah.
When the real discussion that's being had all over the internet and with the audience is why is
this
Bilal's...
gaslighting motherfucker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. And that is very much the case with Angela. I have no interest. Like, the number of times she's gone on a tell-all talking about her surgeries or, you know...
Her weight loss.
I couldn't give a fuck. And by the way, Please don't get too upset. You know what? If you get upset, you get upset. Fine. I'm really not going to clap and applaud someone who loses an enormous amount of weight under the knife. I'm not going to criticize you either, but I'm not going to celebrate it. I might celebrate it if that's great because your health can now improve. But if you continue to smoke afterwards against surgeon's advice, then that no longer applies. Right? So there's nothing to celebrate in Angela's weight loss whatsoever.
You know what's worth celebrating? Z.
Aww.
His birthday.
Oh, it's Z.
Sweet little man.
Oh. He didn't get the job though, did he?
Didn't get the lead deckhand job, but he's the lead deckhand of our hearts, especially now that Lloyd is maybe driving a bus somewhere.
I love Lloyd. I miss Lloyd.
I miss Lloyd too.
I miss
Come
Z
at us
falling
if you
over.
miss Lloyd and if you miss Z falling over all the time.
Yeah. We should call him N. Because if a Z falls over, it's an N.
That's so good.
Thank you.
That was really funny. Yeah. You know, Below Deck Med is kind of trekking right along. I think you and I are of the same mind, I believe, where this show is a lot less fun when people are terrible at their jobs.
Yeah. It is actually.
And I'm going to say Natasha is terrible at her job. She
Awful
shouldn't be
human being.
managing anyone.
Awful human being was quite strong.
Yeah, that's a little strong.
But she is.
You know what? I think that she is a very young, however old she is.
Yeah, I think by however old she is, she shouldn't be behaving in that way at all anymore. But the real villain of Below Deck is her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or future boyfriend.
Yeah.
God only knows.
Whoever he is, he's disgusting.
He can't spell. And that is the thing that annoys me the most. Now, I don't know if whichever junior producer...
Y'all, Robin and I have argued about this. We've revisited this argument every single time. So I'm of the opinion that if you're captioning something or you're reproducing a text, you should use that original person's writing, intonation, whatever they put, that's what you should print, unless it's someone's address.
But if it is an error, it probably behooves you to use the Latin.
I disagree. Why take you out of it? This is supposed to be.
But you're working on the assumption here, right, that the boyfriend cannot spell.
I know he can't spell.
But maybe he can, and maybe it's the guy doing the captions.
No one would do that, Robin.
Who knows? Someone offends the deepest part of me. Because, look, I'm sorry about this. I am a guy who cannot abide your errors.
Maybe he's dyslexic.
Don't care.
I'm just saying.
I think dyslexic people can still do YOUR_RE. I think it's one of those things you can teach yourself when you're... I don't think dyslexia applies to that. I have, not coming at dyslexic people, but I think that is one rule that dyslexic people can focus on quite heavily and actually control, right?
And better themselves.
Well, there's no bettering or that.
I know, but that's the way you're talking about it. You're talking about it like dyslexia is a behavioral issue.
Dyslexia articulates itself or manifests itself in many more diverse ways than just getting your and your wrong, right? That isn't dyslexia. That's just being a... It bothers me.
It's okay. Then own that and let it be your problem rather than the problem.
There should be a warning for grammar Nazis at the start of that show. May contain spellings that could cause distress.
Yeah, nightmare.
The other thing about Below Deck is the reinvention of Captain Sandy.
She's getting a very good edit this year.
What happened?
I don't know.
She led her ship.
Well, that's the thing. She's not doing a whole lot of leading. And I don't know if, like, look, maybe she went to Burning Man. Maybe she went to Coachella. Maybe she went to Reading Festival. I'm sure she was in England at some point over the summer.
Hope so.
In any event, I think that she probably went on a trip. I think she saw herself and talked to herself outside herself and realized that maybe she doesn't need to micromanage her staff within an inch of their lives. And whatever conversation that she had with herself, about herself, to herself, revealed this new side to her where she doesn't need to control everyone. Now, the problem is these people actually do need a bit more looking after.
Yeah, I could do with the captain. I get the feeling she turned up for 2 days of filming, and the rest of the time, Z was driving the boat.
Well, here's why I think the fact that she hit something tells us everything. I've
never hit anything in my entire career.
I think she's mellowed out.
Specifically, she hit a dolphin. And I think that's okay. Is it reasonable for me to come at dolphins?
No, probably people are going to have something to say about it. But just so you know, they like rip other animals' heads off.
It's
and
worse than that.
Play with them.
Dolphins are psychopaths. The reason they like to swim with people is because they have very lascivious interests in people. And there are many documented cases of dolphins going a little bit too far. I won't get into it in great detail, but look up dolphins are terrible people. I don't know if that will work on Google. Dolphins are terrible people. But she hit a concrete dolphin. It's not the same thing.
No. What else have we been watching? Is that everything?
I mean, we could do the corn song.
We could talk about House of the Dragon.
I don't know that I have much to say that hasn't been said by many, many, many other people. But if you aren't watching it because Game of Thrones roasted a dragon in your face and it was off and it was disgusting, and let's all be honest, it was awful. House of the Dragon's really good,
It
y'all.
is actually really good.
It's really good.
I just want to say one thing, and spoiler alert, fast forward a minute. It's a crime that nobody has put on the YouTubes or the TikToks, the Uncle Fucker song.
From South Park.
Yeah. Because she is an uncle fucker now.
Would Canada be north of the wall?
You know what? I don't know where Canada falls.
Maybe it would be Essos.
Nah. Essos is Mediterranean, isn't it?
Some of. But it's a globe. It goes all the way around. I got into a big thing with Alfie the other day. He was like,
Nerd alert.
He was like, Greenland, it's like to the east of Canada. I was like, it is also to the west. And he refused to accept it.
So I have a little Patreon preview.
Oh.
I've got some lascivious and lewd royal gossip.
Oh, God. No, we can't give it away for free.
I can give away like a little factlet. We need to end this on a happy note because we've basically been bitching about people for an hour.
It's true. Sorry, everyone. We do want to be our usual sprightly selves, but horrible week.
Yeah. But you know what? All you have to do is put butter on it.
Everything will change.
Everything will change.
Everything will change.
So in that spirit, I'm going to share with you all that King Edward the Seventh, aka Prince Albert, aka Dirty Birdie, was he was Queen Victoria's son. He had a special chair made for him so that he could fuck ladies, sometimes with a lowercase L.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
It was a sex swing, right?
Not a swing. It's a chair. Everybody right now, stop what you're doing unless you're driving. If you're driving, please keep driving and obey all of the rules of the road. If you're able to, stop what you're doing and Google Prince Albert sex chair. It is a wonder to behold. You're not going to be able to figure out how a person could fit in it, let alone how two people can fit in it. You're not going to understand you're going to turn your head sideways. You're going to look at it kind of like an owl, moving your head from side to side, trying to imagine.
A French bulldog that is wondering if it's going to get that bit of chicken.
Yeah, this is that, but for purpose-built sex furniture.
Wow. I mean, of course, is it well known? Am I telling a well-known thing in the States if I talk about what a Prince Albert is in piercing terms?
Yes.
That's well known.
Yes.
Okay, then I won't tell it.
Okay. I mean, this is kind of my segment and my thing, but I'm not surprised that you wanted to gazump it.
No.
Anyway, he spoke with a German accent. And he was a large man. So he needed this chair because he was physically incapable of the level of sexual activity that he had to keep up. He was a very pleasant conversationalist. He was a fascinating anecdotalist. He was everyone's favorite dinner guest.
Right.
And the reason that men in this country don't button their bottom button on their waistcoat is because he never did, because he was on the large side. Isn't that a fun fact?
That is a fun fact.
Also, fun fact:
or indeed on any jacket or of a suit, never button that last button.
Yeah, stop disrespecting King Edward the Seventh.
Don't do it. I mean, also, it looks horrible.
Now, his wife had plenty of children, but she didn't like food. She ordered...
Victoria?
Victoria was his mother.
Oh, I thought you said Albert, so I was like, oh. Okay, this is the child of. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
All right, yeah, fine.
Child of, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, be like that. Yeah, his wife, who I believe was his cousin, might have been, probably, for sure. You can tell I really know my stuff. She hated eating. She was very thin, probably had some food issues. You'll appreciate this. She had a roast chicken delivered to her room every night that she fed to her dogs.
Right.
Because
they asked for it.
They asked for it. She was also deaf and had a sore knee, so she wasn't real nice company, which is why he had quite a few mistresses.
Completely deaf or just a bit deaf?
Unclear.
To her, or to anyone?
Look, I can make further investigations. In my opinion, he didn't need an excuse for dining out, as it were, because, he could do whatever he wanted. Also, he's known for being the only King Edward who wasn't a homosexual gentleman.
Well, this is the thing with Edwards. And we were listening to a last podcast on the left the other day, weren't we? Mm-hmm. Is it Edward II and the pertaining rumours that he died from having a red-hot poker thrust up his bottom? I think there's an awful lot of like kind of homophobic tropes around the Edwards throughout history, and indeed the current Prince Edward, our late Queen's son, was always plagued by innuendo and.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about him. I like totally forgot that there even was a current Prince Edward.
Yeah, there is. He got into theatre.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like everyone was very much like, "Oh, an Edward. He likes theatre. Let's bring back those old tropes."
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's not a pedo scumbag like his brother.
That's right.
Hashtag cancel Prince Andrew forever.
And also, just to clarify, at least, nothing wrong with being into theatre.
Nothing wrong with being homosexual.
No.
Nothing wrong with being named Edward.
No.
Anyway.
But I think we were just saying that there is a fine history of those two things going together in this country.
Yes. So your gift for today is the Prince Albert sex chair. Or possibly, you might want to type in King Edward sex chair.
Yeah, you see, I got confused. With it.
Yeah, it's King Edward VII.
They change their names as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do, because...
when they become kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, of course, Charles didn't do.
Because there's only been 2.
There's only been 2, so it seemed quite fresh. But he did have...
seemed quite fresh.
Yeah. It's like Led Zeppelin albums, 3 is good. But he could have had any of his given names, which meant that he could have had Arthur. Who the fuck doesn't go for King Arthur?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ugh. And I'm a stan. Should have been King Arthur.
Now, Wills also has Arthur in his name. He's William Arthur Philip Louis.
He might do it, the thirsty bastard.
If he gets there. Oh, I've got some good tea about him, too. A lot of this stuff doesn't make it to America, so people
really?
will appreciate it. Anyway, that's your little joyful moment. Google the corn song. Google King Edward VII sex chair. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know.
You're not going to make a sex chair for the 3 people that give you the sort of best thoughts.
No, I might make a miniature one day.
That would be good. Michelle's into making miniatures. I quite like a miniature dungeon.
Don't tell people that, because then people will expect that I'm good at it. I like making miniatures. I'm not good at it.
And I bought a 3D printer so I could help you in that endeavor, but life.
Oh, life.
Oh,
life. Oh, life.
Well, that's been a date, Blight, everyone. You've joined us on our ramble through life and TV and all sorts of nonsense. Do tell us what you would like us to cover in future date blights. Essentially, it's an informal thing. You're sitting at the next table in the restaurant listening in. We've noticed you listening. We're a bit creeped out, and we're going to say something to the staff,
who will politely ask us to leave because we haven't got any trousers on.
And with that, we will
see you soon.